Welcome to the next lesson. In this part, we are going to use ChatGPT for commenting. Now, when you're writing codes, okay, it's extremely helpful to write comments and explain that specific part of the code. It for three main reasons. First of all, we may come back to this code after a while, after a couple of months, and we forget why did we wrote this code and what is the use of it. That comment can remind us why we wrote this code. Another reason is that when other developers is using our code, okay, when they're reviewing our code, they can understand the reason of why we wrote that specific code and what's the use of it. And the third reason is that it makes our code much clear and clean, and later on when we want to look for part of the code, we can find it much better. So here is, as you can see here, we have a code. We don't have any comment to explain each of these functions and what is the use of them. So I'm just going to come here, copy these functions, right? I'm going to copy them all and come to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to write comments above each of these functions and explain the use of them. I wrote down that I have a code and I want you to write comments above each function and explain what that function does in a couple of words, very short and understandable. So let's paste that code. And let's wait for the response that ChatGPT will provide. All right, so as you can see, it reviewed our code and now it's adding comments above each function and explaining what each function will do. So this function fetch the timing data for each word, okay? Explain that part. This function convert provided text into speech, okay? This function display a specific books page, okay? And it will go the same way. Now I can come here, copy this code and replace it here, okay? So later, if someone or if myself come back to this code, I can simply understand what each part does based on the comment above it, okay? So that was how you can use ChatGPT to write comments on a code, okay? We can try it again on another code. This was Python, okay? We can try it on, for example, HTML and ask ChatGPT to explain each part of an HTML code. So this is another code, okay? It's an HTML template for a Django project, okay? Part of it is HTML, part of it is Django. I'm gonna copy it all and let's come here, let's copy it, or let's edit this prompt and replace it with the code that we paste earlier, okay? And instead of function, okay, we can say comment on each part or each main part of this code, okay? So let's paste it. We have to save and submit it and wait for the response. All right, the code is complete, and as you can see, explained exactly each part. For example, the first line, what is it for? And for example, here, what it does, it is SEO instructions. Okay, let me swipe right. It is SEO instructions to web crawlers to index this page and follow, okay? So even if you don't want to comment the whole page like this because it make it more complex, you can, as I said in the previous example, you can tell ChatGPT to add comments for some specific part of it. And even if you want ChatGPT to comment on all parts, this is good for understanding the code, okay? Not to paste the whole code. For example, let me show you. If I copy all of it and bring it here, okay, it will be more complex, right? There will be a lot of comments and it wouldn't look so good, right? And it, of course, it replaced some of the codes and it just added some explanation. So this way, if you want to add comments on all parts, it is good for explaining as well. Okay, so that was all about this lesson. If you're ready, let's go for the next part.